brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Mornings at the Cabin. Welcome to the show. Lecter, AJ, Wheeler later via Skype as he enters his last day of self-isolation.
Potentially. Unless some last-minute symptoms creep up.
Yeah, unless he jumps on the phone and is just immediately coughing into our ears. Or various other symptoms. And that's kind of the crazy thing is, like, you can go symptom-free for a while.
Yeah.
And still not be 100%. But anyway, hoping for the best. But we will check in with Wheeler a little bit later on. Not much later. He's been up bright and early.
This is the best part of his day as far as I am concerned.
I would have to think. I mean, it's always the best part of his day, is it not?
Maybe a little cuddle with Betty in the morning might top it, but
that's true.
Other than that, a close second.
I was craving Snugs this morning.
Were ya?
Yeah.
Dre was getting in my way. I kind of snapped at him. I had to give him a, sorry, buddy, that was my fault.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was just so slow this morning, and I was late.
Well, you know.
I know, I felt bad. Okay. I wanted to leave on a good note.
As long as you apologize. Don't go away angry.
Gave him a little snuggle before I left.
Aw, little Snugs. That's cute. Might hear from Ollie. He has not declared, as of yet, that he will not be appearing on the show because he requires sleep. We know that he does now. That was a turning point.
Yeah, that was a big revelation for us.
Yeah. Up until that point, I think we just assumed he thrived off exhaustion.
I just thought there was a cord in his back pocket he plugged in every night.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Mornings at the Cabin. 7:15, Lecter and AJ with you, bringing you all the bright and sunny stuff there is to talk about on this Wednesday morning. Oh, my stars, the things we will talk about.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Well, the big news today being Prince Charles apparently has tested positive for COVID-19.
And that guy is old.
He's up there. I wouldn't put him in spring chicken category. Apparently he remains in good health.
I'd put him in, he's in the fridge too long. You really got to cook that chicken kind of category.
Wow.
He's old, man.
Wow, AJ coming in hot on this Wednesday
These
morning.
are just facts.
Jeez.
Guy's old.
Okay, he's 71 years old.
Oh,
I mean,
that's actually younger than I thought he was.
He's not, yeah. He's not, again, not spring chicken territory, but like,
life.
But still like Rolling Stones World Tour territory.
Could make a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's actually younger than I thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, him and Mick Jagger, I think they might be the same age. I don't know. Probably close anyway. The main concern, obviously, being that, he's around the Queen, who is even older.
Real old.
Last saw the Queen apparently on March 12th. So I'm sure she will be in full isolation mode. They'll be keeping an eye on her. We're going to hear from Ollie a bit later on in the morning and Mr. Jesse Wheeler, who joins us right now via Skype on his last day of isolation. How are you feeling, Jesse? The nation needs to know.
But first, you'll have to deal with me. You'll have Ollie later. But first, me. I'm feeling okay. Okay, so this is the thing. Last day in our isolation, in our kind of mandated isolation. Gonna be in the show tomorrow, hopefully at the studio. Like, we're both still symptom free. Everything's good there.
Yeah.
Just a lot of like, I don't know. Every message you're seeing out there is like, just stay home. Just stay home. Just stay home. I haven't lost my job yet.
Right.
And I would like to go into the studio. So, I mean, I'm not really sure what to do.
Yeah, I meant to ask you kind of your thoughts on that because, yeah, there, like you say, there is definitely a strong narrative, and for very good reasons, obvious reasons, in fact, that everyone is just saying, just stay home. Like, if you don't have to go out, you don't have to be near anyone, then don't, because there's a risk, obviously associated with it. And so I kind of wondered what your feelings were on that, symptom-free or not. Obviously your employment here at Cabin Radio is very secure, despite what you may think at times.
Shaky. It's on shaky ground. Shaky, secure ground. Very secure, but shaky.
And that's the way we likes it.
That's the way we likes it. I like standing on Jello. This is what I like. Yeah, it's one of those, like, if you're not an essential worker, stay home. Here's the thing, though. Have you seen the list of essential workers coming out of Ontario? The Ontario government released a list of what they consider essential. It's basically everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like if you go through the list, it's like retail workers. Basically anyone, anyone that can work is an essential worker.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing we're seeing in the U.S. right now, where we're 45 there. Number Donald Trump is saying that he wants the economy raring to go by Easter.
Donald Trump is concerned about the economy?
Like, no, stop. What are you doing? Like, you're just going to get people sick, and you're going to get people dying more and more. And the narrative we're seeing out of some very conservative parts of the U.S. is that, including Glenn Beck, who I'm sure none of us listen to, would say, he said he's north of 60, I believe, and he's telling older Americans that, like, go back to work. For me, I would rather die than allow the economy to go under.
Wow.
We are living in insane times.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I'm looking forward to getting out of the house a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and especially when, we've talked about the great work that now suddenly people who are being deemed essential workers, i.e. grocery store employees, which are doing a great job all over the world. Like, I mean, shout out to those people who are continue to go into work and continue to basically just, like, keep us stocked with the essentials, and suddenly have had this sort of burden placed on them. I don't think when you apply for a job at a grocery store, you ever have a thought in your head that, I may be saving the world one day.
This is going to be a big deal one day.
But especially when you know that those people are putting in such great work, there's kind of I think a natural human instinct to stand back and look at that and be like, well, what am I doing? I got to do more.
I got to get back to work. I'm an essential worker.
That's right.
I sell essential oils.
Yeah.
I'm essential.
So I totally get where you're coming from, that there's this obvious answer, which is stay home.
Stay home.
But you see everything going on around you. You see the great work that other people are doing in these, trying times, and you're just like, well, I could help out. It's like, it's just, I think it's only just natural. It's just human to feel that way. I know AJ feels that way. AJ's been raring to do anything.
Pretty much, yeah. Cleaning. I went and bagged groceries. No, I didn't do that. That's not good.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't touch people's groceries.
Yeah, but I think
I started yesterday to do that most northern of spring activities. I started shoveling poop in my backyard.
Oh, there you go.
That's
essential.
It's not as warm as it was the other day, which is good because it's still frozen, which is nice. Makes it a little easier. So I did get out and start doing that, so I'll do more of that today.
Yeah, you might be in trouble today. It's a high of -4. Maybe get out there early and start shoveling poop.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah,
it's warm out there today.
It's a nice one today.
That's another thing, too. The weather's so important right now. No one's going outside. That's right. We have to tell the people that it's warm or it's not warm. That's essential.
Anyway.
It's kind of messes with your head, but I get where you're coming from, and obviously it's up to you whether you decide that you would like to come back into the studio or not. We, AJ and I, we trust you. We know that you are taking this as seriously as anyone. You're washing your hands, you're social distancing, you're doing, everything you can to keep yourself and our community safe. So, if you wake up tomorrow morning and you decide, I want to be at the cabin, I am essential, I must be there.
Here's the thing. I mean, you joke, and I don't consider myself essential, but what we're doing right now, I feel like, Ollie has proven himself essential.
Yeah, Ollie, there's no question.
There is that, and I'm not putting myself up there, but I'm just saying that, like, what we're able to do and still create social distance and still protect ourselves, I think we're, it's important.
Yeah, I agree.
We will welcome you with closed arms.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Crossed
we will welcome
arms
you at a distance
and backing away.
with closed arms. Exactly, backing away. All right, tons to talk about. Obviously, a lot of things still going on. Let's get back to go back to some tunes, and we'll come back. We'll talk about schools.
Hey!
We'll talk about all the
who's running the show?
Look at this guy. He thinks
Look at this guy.
it's Thursday already.
Yeah, swear he's got a board under his fingers here. But before we get to that, yes, we are going to get back into some tunes in a minute and continue with the show. However, I want to say that coming up at 8 a.m., we are going to hear from Mr. Essential, Ollie Williams. And if you want to even the playing field a bit, I'm thinking, because it's potentially your last day of isolation, I'm thinking we do a little Wheeler versus Ollie isolation edition.
Okay, here's another thing. Okay, if I don't know what we're gonna use to measure this, but if it's like productivity, Ollie's already won.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
If you were listening to the show yesterday, we featured a little, we kind of circled back around to something we had talked about the previous week, in which we talked about songs that were potentially unhelpful in the time of COVID-19. Lyrics that you didn't think about before. They were just kind of fun songs, and you loved singing along to them. But now, they're put in a different context, and you're like, well, maybe that's not such a good message. And one, of course, was Neil Diamond's classic Sweet Caroline. So Neil got the memo. I'm going to assume he heard this from more than a few people. Or maybe it was just us. Maybe he just listens to Mornings at the Cabin every day and thought, you know what? I got to do something about this. These guys are right. They're calling me out. It's time to respond.
It was just a large number of morning show hosts calling him up and being like, Neil, let's talk to you about Sweet Caroline for a second. Have you thought about changing? It was one of those things.
Do you think Neil actually answers phone calls? Or
I hope so.
Answers people in general? No.
Yeah, let's just call him.
Just give him a shout. Yeah. Neil, what's up? So he responded. He recorded a quick little video doing a updated version of Sweet Caroline about not touching each other. And we thought it was great. We all sang along. We had a good time. But I wanted to play it again from yesterday's show because when I was putting the podcast together, there was something that stood out to me that I don't think I realized at the time. And it really highlights what we were talking about just in the last break, which was Jesse not being in the studio and the show just kind of feeling different. Obviously we can still do it while you're on the phone here, but there's some things that just don't quite work as well as when you're in the studio. And one of those, as I discovered, is doing sing-alongs. Because we played the sing-along, or the Neil Diamond song. AJ and I were singing along beautifully, right in time.
I'm convinced there is no delay.
And then about a half second later, you hear Jesse singing along, and it's like a kid. It's like the one kid in the kindergarten choir that can't quite figure out rhythm and timing, and they're just kind of doing their own thing.
He hasn't memorized the lyrics. He's just repeating them back after all the kids say it first.
Like a kid who doesn't know how a round works.
Or similarly, the one old guy in church who has completely lost his sense of rhythm and is just belted out hymns to his own time signature. So I wanted to play that right now because it's okay. There we go. It's
What's
so
he got
cute
for us?
Hey, there it is.
That's better.
Reaching out.
Whoa, wait. No reaching out.
Don't touch me.
There it is.
Don't touch you.
There he is.
Sweet Caroline.
The times never seem so good.
So good. So good.
So good. So good.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh man.
Oh, I sound like an idiot.
Oh man, that just made my heart smile yesterday morning. It's like you want to be involved so bad, but you're just not quite involved.
Hey guys, can I sing along?
Oh, thank you for that, Jesse. That was a little bit of pure unintentional charm yesterday morning.
Well, I pleased to aim.
The joys of self-isolation.
I thought, we could obviously play that, and you could at least enjoy that at the same time with us, because there's no coordination involved. All you had to do was listen and enjoy. So there you go, Jesse. But coming up next, we're going to take another break here, and we're going to come back. We're going to get Ollie on the line, and as I mentioned earlier, we're going to do a little Wheeler versus Ollie isolation edition. So what that's going to look like is
it's the only competition he'll be able to win.
It's what, sorry?
It's the only competition he'll be able to win.
Well, it is, of course, in the spirit of what is a little bit of a tradition here in Yellowknife. Wednesday nights, of course, at the Yellowknife Elks Lodge, normally are reserved for Pub Stumpers trivia.
Yes.
It's one of our favorite things that we can now no longer do for the, at least the immediate future. Hopefully.
For the fall, I would say.
Yeah, I would think, yeah. I haven't seen a press release from the Elks yet saying they're going to call it off for the rest of the season.
They're still discussing it behind closed doors.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
They got a Board of Governors meeting coming up.
The Pub Stumpers people.
That's right. So
K-Mac's putting up a big fight.
Oh, K-Mac, we love you. So we're looking forward to Wheeler versus Ollie, Isolation Edition. And tonight, in the spirit of trivia, once again, you may recall last Wednesday, Clams and Moose did a live trivia edition on Cabin Radio. They're not allowed in the studio, obviously, now because we are taking our COVID protocol very seriously.
It was actually because of that show.
It was...
Kicked him right out after that.
AJ had had enough, locked him out, never to be seen again. But somehow, Clams and Moose, I don't know how, but through some magic of recording, Jesse, I think I can hear you chewing in the background. What are you eating there?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
Don't eat all your isolation food.
Rationing, Jesse. Rationing. There it is, your Simpsons reference for the day. But coming up tonight at 8 p.m., Clams and Moose have somehow put together a new trivia show for us right here on Cabin Radio. So I thought in the spirit of that and in the spirit of Pub Stumpers trivia, traditionally Wednesday nights in Yellowknife, we're going to do a little trivia, Wheeler versus Ollie. That's coming up on Mornings at the Cabin.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Mornings at the Cabin, Nazareth, and this flight tonight. Summer Dave played that. We rebroadcasted a previous episode he did of Dad Rock, where it was classic rock covers. He featured that song, and while it was playing during his show, he texted me saying, "Why did you allow me to sing this during our karaoke at our Christmas party?" I was like, Dave, it was very entertaining for the rest of us. That's
because it was Christmas.
Because it was Christmas.
This is the time when we give to others
what
they may not deserve.
We did not deserve that treat. We were not good enough for that. But nevertheless, he treated us to it. And it was wonderful. 808, Lecter, AJ, Jesse, and Ollie with you on Mornings at the Cabin. How are we doing this morning, gentlemen?
Good. Wonderful.
Good. Okay, so we've talked, obviously, a lot about COVID-19. It's what's going on. It's what's happening. We're trying to keep people informed, but we all know that Ollie is doing a much better job of that nightly on COVID Corner on the Cabin Radio Facebook page. So I thought, let's take a break from that and focus on something a little more fun. And at the same time, highlight what is coming up tonight on Cabin Radio, 8 p.m. with Clams and Moose. Somehow they recorded a new episode. I have no idea. I hope they didn't sneak into the studio. I don't think they did. But somehow they've recorded a brand new episode, and it is a brand new trivia episode because they thought, hey, last week's went so well, aside from possibly AJ's opinion. But other than that, everyone seemed to really enjoy it. So they thought, you know what? Let's keep the momentum going. Let's do another trivia episode. So look forward to that tonight, 8 p.m. with Clams and Moose. But as for right now, let's do a little Wheeler versus Ollie Isolation Edition. A 3-round, there it is.
Oh my God.
Yes. A 3-round trivia showdown with a tiebreaker question. Now, I didn't have a tiebreaker question up until about a minute ago. I've come up with one. So, gentlemen, are you ready to play Wheeler versus
No,
Ollie?
because I haven't got a clue how this is working.
All right, I just described it, Ollie.
Are you asking us both the same question and we try and answer it first, or do we get different questions?
You can answer at the same
scream
time.
out our names as a buzzer, or
You can answer at the same time. They're multiple choice questions, 3 multiple choice questions. So,
who's got the bigger delay?
well, I don't know. It doesn't matter who answers first. All right?
All right.
You answer on your own time. We got all the time in the world. This is our morning show, right?
That's
okay.
right.
Okay. AJ, standing by with the sound effects. Are you ready? Let's
A
play
resounding yes.
Wheeler versus Ollie Isolation Edition. Question. Okay. We have
All
other
right.
sound effects, AJ. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Question 1. Oh, there it is. Before going solo, can you gentlemen both hear me all right over the ominous music? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but this sounds like a music question, which is unfortunate.
There is. This is the one. Don't worry. Before going solo, what legendary band was Lionel Richie a part of?
Jesse.
Was it A, Earth, Wind, and Fire? B, The Temptations? C, The Commodores? Or D, Kool and the Gang?
C.
Jesse says C. Ollie says
See.
C. You're both correct. It was the Commodores. Well done, gentlemen. You both get 1 point.
I screamed out my name because I thought it was a buzzer.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
I like that system.
I prefer this system because it allows me to listen to what he said and then copy it.
Yeah, that's right. No, what we should be doing is writing down our answers, taking a picture of it, and then sharing it with you.
All right, it's not a perfect system, but let's just try and make the best of it, all right?
This is clams and moose all over again.
Question 2.
Just give me
AJ?
just 1 second here. I just
AJ?
gotta get the. There we go.
AJ, there we go.
There we
I
are.
love this contest.
Question 2. How many points is the letter X worth in Scrabble? Is it A, 8 points, B, 10 points, C, 11 points, or D, 12 points? Ooh,
Yeah,
have to think a little more about this one.
8 points.
Jesse's going with A.
Yep.
Ollie, you are also going with A?
Yep.
You are both correct. It is A, 8 points. And
I'm really glad you came up with the tiebreaker because I feel like we're going to tie.
I'm starting to sweat a little because maybe these questions were too easy. Oh, and now I'm looking at my last question and I'm like, well, they're both going to know this. If they knew how many points the friggin' X was worth in Scrabble. All right, let's give it a shot anyway. All right, question 3. And this is of course, a little bit of a reference to the Olympic Games, which were just recently delayed until 2021. An Olympics question.
Is the answer Japan?
No. Wait, that means you're wrong. Ollie, what's the answer?
You haven't said the question yet. Shut up.
All right. Question 3. Countries from which continent boycotted the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal? Was it A, Europe, B, Africa, C, Asia, or D, South America?
Oh.
I'm going to let Jesse answer first.
No, I'm going to let Ollie answer first.
Well, one of you has to answer first.
Which one was which again? Just recap which my choices were.
So the question was which countries boycotted the 1976, countries from which continent boycotted the 1976 Olympic Games in Montreal, and your options were A, Europe, B, Africa, C, Asia, and D, South America. And we've run out of time, gentlemen.
Okay. C, Asia.
C, Asia. Jesse?
Yes. C, Asia.
C, Asia. You're both wrong. It was B, Africa.
Oh.
So you did end up tying.
Hang on a minute. China boycotted.
China did boycott the Olympics in '76.
China did, you say? 29 countries, mostly African, boycotted the Montreal Games, according to Google.
But also China.
All right, we're going majority here, fellas, and I feel like you took so much time that I can't trust you that you didn't Google the answer. Anyway, you're both wrong. It was Africa.
Okay, tiebreaker.
All right, so now we move on to the tiebreaker question. You both got 2 right, 1 arguably wrong. And the tiebreaker, as I moved around the office, the question is, how many CDs do we have lying around in Studio One for no reason at all?
Is this Price is Right? Like, as close without going over?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
31.
31, says Ollie. Jesse, how many CDs do we have lying around Studio One for no reason at all?
Okay.
Ooh. Tense.
35.
35. Jesse says 35. Ollie says 31. The correct answer is 46 CDs lying around for no reason at all. And the winner of Wheeler versus Ollie Isolation Edition, Mr. Jesse Wheeler. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels pretty good, bud. Knowing that I'm going to be out of isolation here pretty soon, it just feels like a winner type of a day.
Ollie, always gracious in defeat. How are you feeling?
The usual story. Doesn't matter what I do in any version of Wheeler versus Ollie, I will always lose.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for playing and helping us out with a wonderful distraction. And, of course, promoting, once again, Clams and Moose tonight, 8 p.m., bringing you trivia on Cabin Radio.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Congratulations, Jesse, on your big win with Wheeler vs. Ollie Isolation Edition. You continue your reign of dominance in Wheeler vs. Ollie and solidify yourself in, someone who's making a difference in these trying times. Well done.
Pardon me, I'm kissing my dog.
Okay. Take your time.
Yeah. When you're ready.
There we go. Well, thank you.
No, wait. Give her a couple more, just for me.
No, hey, come here. Come here.
Oh, that's nice.
Come here.
All right.
You're so wet and cold. Go lay down.
Okay.
We get here.
That delay is super long today. It does feel good to once again trounce Ollie in something. It feels good to be a winner. You know what? I wake up in the morning and I just piss excellence.
Yeah, revel in it. Not in that, but, revel in the glory. Yeah.
That's right. I will. Couple things I want to touch on before we head out. Obviously, schools closing. Announced yesterday that they will be closed till fall. And we heard a collective scream from all the parents in the city. But, seriously, though, it's that's going to be very tough.
Yes.
For everybody, and we'll just kind of see what happens. But teachers all around the city coming up with online schooling and online classes and all kinds of things. Phoenix has been working very hard on the online stuff as well for Bella Dance. Trying to coordinate dance classes online is quite difficult, and she's been working kind of pretty much all day, every day on that.
Well, especially in the age of
other teachers going to be doing stuff like that, trying to get as much teaching out there as possible. So, big shout out to the teachers who are kind of. There's not a lot of. It's unknowable right now. We don't know what's going on. We know it's closed till fall, but other than that, they're kind of up in the air right now. And then a big shout out to all the parents who just had to figure out. Okay, let's figure out how to get these kids taken care of and keep them stimulated for the next 5 months.
Yeah, I got to say the response that I've seen, which has not been a lot of, you could certainly excuse, anyone who was feeling like you don't really know what to do and you're kind of feeling in a bit of despair. You could certainly excuse that when already trying times just get tougher with a decision like this. I mean, it's a decision that we all know had to be made, and I think we all kind of anticipated coming. But obviously, yeah, schools, it's now official, closing until the fall. That's tough, again, and it just makes an already tough situation even tougher. And I just have so much admiration for all the parents out there who are having to navigate this, and at the same time just seem to be finding ways to stay positive and make the best of it. It's we honestly are in a lot of ways seeing the best of humanity right now, which is really encouraging.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's what we need to keep focusing on as we kind of move forward here, because as we know, we don't really know what's happening. We're like a lot of people practicing self-isolation right now. All gatherings have been canceled in the NWT of any size. But I mean, we haven't seen a general lockdown yet. Hopefully we don't have to. So yeah, it's uncharted waters continue. Every day we seem to be getting deeper and deeper into uncharted waters, but a lot of people out there staying very positive, which is great.
Yeah.
I've seen kind of a more of a crackdown on people sharing terrible, stupid information, which is awesome, because like mods out there on pages on Facebook are doing their job. Even Facebook is doing its job by posting like this claim is completely untrue, or this article has been proven to be untrue. So, I mean, we got to nip that in the bud as well, because all it does is just create fear and things like that. So that's been good to see. Shout out again to the grocery store workers. We did an online order we picked up yesterday. It was about 3 hours after we were supposed to do it, which is obviously fine. But when Phoenix got there, talking to one of the kids and saying that we've got another 80 orders to fill or 70 orders to fill, and that was at 6 o'clock. So they are working extra super hard, because obviously a lot of people doing online delivery. So that's amazing that they're staying. And we pulled up yesterday, and there was masks on pretty much everybody inside, and it was good to see. Also, shout out to the mayor. Shout out to Mayor Rebecca Alty, her worship, for her nice video yesterday that she released on Instagram about social distancing and things like that, and how it works and what does it mean. Because I mean, some people just aren't really getting it. Yeah. Don't go out in big groups. A lot of people here seem to be doing it just fine, but people in other areas don't seem getting it, still going out in large groups, still getting together, still trying to go out to restaurants and things like this. Yeah. So good on her. And compared to what I found earlier today, there's a mayor in Kentucky who released, I think it was a Facebook post. He released a Facebook post that said, "Listen up, dip-ishes. Coronavirus is effing serious. Stay in your homes." Oh, so a mayor in Kentucky is certainly not messing around.
Yeah, I heard a story about a mayor in a town in Italy where he's literally just going out nightly onto the beaches and just screaming at people who are just out there for no reason, just enjoying the beach, just saying, "What are you doing? Get back to your homes, you friggin' idiots."
No, my uncle used to do that long before this. I think he said he'd take
flamethrowers to them. So
I think that's next. Yeah, I think he's been threatening flamethrowers. We can all get behind that. It's not often we
can do to keep people social distancing, be it just keeping them at a couple arms length, or shooting flames at them. However you want to go about that.
It's not often we get to encourage that, but I think we got to take full advantage on this one.
Absolutely. The other thing was, I saw this a lot a couple weeks ago or a week ago about like parents who are in self-isolation with kids, and the posts were basically suggesting, listen, if your kid isn't learning another language and your kid isn't like living their best life, as long as they're fed and with a roof over their head, you're doing just fine. Yep. So I just wanted to put that out there, like you're doing okay. Like your kid doesn't need to become an exceptional child in this time of self-isolation. On another note on that as well, seeing a lot of people obviously being very productive, artists giving away free concerts and artists giving away free art lessons and paintings and all these things. And all of that is just wonderful, wonderful stuff. For those of you who are sitting at home in self-isolation trying to figure out how to be productive or feeling bad about not being as productive as you could, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Take this time. Sometimes a break from that routine that you do every day can be very beneficial for your mental health. So if you're able to be at home and you feel bad for not working from home or whatever, don't. This is, again, uncharted waters for all of us. Just try to take care of yourself, stay safe, phone a friend, phone your family, try to keep those connections open as much as possible, and just like we are all in this together, despite Madonna, but we're all kind of doing this together.
Yeah, and I got to take exception now with how we were raised, all this social conditioning throughout our lives to be productive. What's so great about being productive? Why can't we just
it is great.
laze around,
That's
right.
I disagree.
It's not so bad.
But I mean, the article I read was talking about our innate need now to always be working, be working towards something, or always trying to make ourselves better.
I always took issue with that personally.
But at this time, what's that?
I always took issue with that personally.
I know. I don't want to work on myself.
No.
To hell with that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to stay safe here, all right?
I've been thinking that way too in the last few days. Just like, why am I not picking up my guitar and relearning that? Or I have a piano. Why am I learning the piano? I'm just trying to kind of figure out everything as it goes, and taking some time as much as I can. And
yeah, like you say, if you're feeling that you're getting anxious because you are not able to be as productive as you normally are and would like to be, just don't be hard on yourself. Just take it easy and remember that hopefully the goal is, obviously, as we've said, that this is not the new normal. So we need to just kind of stay strong and watch Netflix. That's
because we can now.
Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, my friend. And I think that'll about do it for today. Hopefully, assuming all goes well for the rest of the day for you today, we may or may not see you in the studio again. That is completely up to your decision. From AJ and I in here, don't feel pressured, but if you do decide that you would like to come in and do the show tomorrow, we will be more than happy to see you. And of course, everyone will be more than happy to hear you in audio that doesn't sound like you may or may not be underwater.
I am underwater.
Have a great day, Jesse.
There'll be no contagions, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Beautiful. All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.